Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel where we bring classic stories to life. Today we have a wonderful tale about a very unlucky fox and a surprisingly clever sheep. It's a story that teaches us a valuable lesson about thinking before we leap. So get comfortable and let's dive into the world of the fox and the sheep. Once upon a time, deep in a lush green forest, a fox was having a particularly bad day. He'd been prowling since sunrise, his stomach rumbling like distant thunder, but he couldn't find a single thing to eat. Not a mouse, not a bird, not even a juicy beetle. As he trotted along, lost in his hungry thoughts and not watching where he was going, his paw suddenly slipped on some loose moss. Whoosh! Before he knew it, he was tumbling head over heels into darkness. Splash! He landed in a cold, deep well. He paddled frantically for a moment, his paws scrabbling against the slick stone walls. But it was no use. The walls were too high and too slippery to climb. He was completely trapped. The fox looked up at the perfect circle of blue sky far above him. "Is anyone there?" he shouted, his voice echoing eerily in the confined space. But only silence answered. He sighed, a long, sad sound, and resigned himself to waiting. He hoped, against all hope, that some other animal might pass by and help him. Hours felt like they were crawling by. The sun moved across the sky, and the circle of light above him began to dim. Just as he was starting to lose all hope, he heard a gentle sound, clip-clop, footsteps. Peeking out from the shadows of the well was a fluffy, white sheep, nibbling peacefully on some grass near the edge. The fox's mind, always sharp and cunning, immediately started worry. This was his chance. He couldn't just yell for help. The sheep might get scared and run away. He needed a plan, a clever trick to lure the sheep closer. He cleared his throat and, in his most inviting, mysterious whisper, he called out, "Come here." The sheep's ears twitched. He stopped chewing and looked around, confused. "Hello, is someone there?" The sheep bleated nervously. The fox waited a moment before whispering again, a little louder this time, "Come closer, down here." Curiosity got the better of the sheep. He cautiously trotted over to the edge of the well and peered down into the darkness. He could just make out two glowing eyes staring back up at him. It was the fox. "Oh my goodness," the sheep exclaimed, his voice filled with surprise. "Mr. Fox, what on earth are you doing down there in that dark well?" The fox put on his most charming smile. This was the critical moment. He had to be convincing. "Ah, my dear sheep," he said, his voice smooth as silk. "I'm so glad you're here. You won't believe how wonderful it is down here. I came down for a drink of this cool, fresh water, but I discovered a secret paradise." The sheep tilted his head, intrigued but skeptical. "A paradise?" he asked. "Yes." The fox continued, his excitement growing. "The water is the sweetest I've ever tasted, and look," he gestured around the dark, damp bottom of the well. "There's so much delicious food down here. Crunchy roots, tender moss, ... It's a feast. The sheep peered down again, squinting his eyes, trying to see the incredible feast the fox was describing. All he saw were damp stones and murky water. He couldn't see any roots or moss, at least none that looked appetizing. A little seed of doubt was planted in his mind. He remembered something his mother had told him many, many times. Always think carefully before you do anything, my little one. The world is full of tricks. The fox, sensing the sheep's hesitation, decided to press his advantage. Don't just stand there. Come on down and join me. You look thirsty. Come and eat. He urged, his voice filled with fake enthusiasm. But the sheep was no fool. His mother's advice echoed in his ears. Think carefully. Why would a fox, who loves to hunt in the open forest, be so happy at the bottom of a dark, wet well? It just didn't add up. The sheep looked down one more time, carefully observing the situation. He saw the desperation hidden behind the fox's smile. He saw the steep, slippery walls. And he understood the fox wasn't having a feast. He was trapped. A slow smile spread across the sheep's face. He had a plan of his own. "All right, Mr. Fox," the sheep said cheerfully. "That sounds lovely, but you know it's a very hot day up here. I'm feeling quite warm." He paused for effect. "Before I come down, could you do me a small favor? Could you just sprinkle a little of that wonderful, cool water up to me? It would feel so refreshing." The fox froze. His clever plan came to a screeching halt. Sprinkle water up to the sheep. How could he possibly do that from the bottom of the well? He was speechless. He had been so focused on his own trick that he had unconsidered the sheep might be smart enough to test his story. The fox's mind raced. "What will I do now?" he muttered to himself, forgetting the sheep could hear him. "This sheep is smarter than I thought. My whole plan was to have him jump down so I could use his back as a step to jump out of here." As soon as the words left his mouth, he realized his mistake. He had said his entire evil plan out loud. The sheep, who had been listening intently, let out a little chuckle. "Don't think too hard, Mr. Fox," the sheep said calmly, his voice no longer nervous, but confident and wise. "It seems my mother was right." The fox looked up, defeated. The sheep continued, "You may be cunning, but you should remember this lesson. No matter how smart you think you are, there is always someone smarter. Enjoy the water." And with a flick of his woolly tail, the clever sheep turned and trotted away, leaving the cunning fox alone in the well to think about his mistakes. And that's the story of the fox and the sheep. It as a fantastic reminder that we should always use our heads and not blindly trust everything we hear, especially when something sounds too good to be true. A little bit of critical thinking can save us from falling into a well of trouble. What was your favorite part of the story? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching with me today. If you enjoyed this story, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure. Until next time, stay curious and think smart.